the basic way, like, because you all know, I'm going to get into how we're being poisoned, but I want you to understand, like, why you allow it. And the reason we allow it is because many of us lack vision for life. Because we've identified, if you're a regular listener, that vision equals discipline. So if vision equals discipline, then if I take your vision, then I can also take your discipline to live. So let's look there first, because it's easy for me to go down a list of physical items that poison us. But the reason that it's even possible, the reason that this type of poisoning is possible is because most of us don't have a vision for life. And as a result, that lack of vision blocks our discipline to live. So I would say the average person, talk about the cost of being average. I would say the average person does not have the discipline to live. And because they don't have the discipline to live, they allow the poisoning that's taking place. They actually allow it because I don't have a long-term view. It's just easier if I cook with this no-stick pan. Like, I'm going to get there in the second hour. But, like, this idea of instant gratitude is so powerful because of a lack of a long view. So if my life is based on ease, then it's not based on any type of vision or long view. It's based on right now. Well, again, going back to this example with Ade. Well, Ade, if you did want clean water, you have to go downstairs and pay for it at the store. Oh, by the way, the store's not open, so you have to wait. Why don't you just take this? Right? And it's like, I'm so thirsty, I have to have it right now. Another reason why we allow ourselves to be poisoned is because we fool ourselves into believing that, I'm hungry. I have to eat right now. And by the way, there are no healthy options, but I must eat right now. And the reason I must eat right now, even when I know I might consume poison, is because I don't have a vision for my life that's long view that actually gives me the discipline to say no in the moment. And as a result, that is what allows me to fool myself into eating poison.
If you wanna be about it, come on, let's talk about it. Change up the things you see. Open your mind to possibilities. Find your power, passion, and your purpose. You know it's time for you to walk in greatness. Let's murder mediocrity. Slay your goals, live out your dreams. Now, inspirational perspective.
Over the past 2 to 3 weeks, I've really been thinking about this. It's like, okay, why is it so difficult? Why is it so difficult for people to stay aligned with a particular intention that benefits them? Why is it so difficult? I've been thinking about this. And in my thinking about this past week, something clicked for me. And it clicked for me as I was going through my normal, as my wife might call boring, morning routine, right? And I started paying attention to not what I did, but more so the products I used. And this gets to the topic of today's show. because the topic for today's show is how we're being poisoned. Like how we're being poisoned. And let me just ask you this quick question. Like first for the listening audience. I'm curious, and especially for those of you who are watching the stream live right now, put it in the comments. But I'm curious first, like in terms of our awareness, like do you even believe that you are being poisoned? Like in terms of like what is best for your physical, biological body, in terms of what you purchase, in terms of what you consume, even in terms of what you watch, and in terms of what you listen to. Like, just surface point, I'm curious. I'm going to look at the stream here. By the way, you can watch the show live on Facebook.com/Coach Linnell Harris. But I'm just curious where we are as a community, because if not, I'll drive some awareness. I'm curious about the current level of awareness. Do you believe that you are being poisoned? Like, I just want to, like, there first, right? Because I want to, like, there's two ways I can go. You know how you read those books? And they be like, what decision do you want to make now? Does Johnny go through the door? Or does Johnny not enter the house and go to the backyard, right? And then it's like different things happen in terms of how, you know, the book unfolds. And so the question is, like, again, for those of you who are joining this morning, I see, you know, already some of you are saying yes. Like, do you believe that you're being poisoned? Just, you know, high level. And you could say poisoned physically, poisoned mentally, poisoned spiritually, like in any capacity. But do you believe you're being poisoned? That's the first piece. And then, like, if we can fundamentally, like, just agree that we're being poisoned in some capacity, right? And when I think about, like, myself as a human being, I think about myself in multiple dimensions, right? So not just my physical dimension, because as a conscious being, like, then there's like this whole mental, psychological dimension that is fascinating within itself, because even if I were a vegetable, that part of me would still be there, right? And very functional, which is, you know, Stephen Hawking's proved that he made a huge difference for us in terms of, so that's a whole nother dimension, right? So then my psychological, mental dimension, but then also my spiritual dimension. So then we have to look at all these dimensions in terms of this aspect, this whole idea of being poisoned. But I want to start with the physical, because that's what most of us are fully aware of and entangled with. Like, so then how am I being physically poisoned? Because that's concerning, because it actually impacts in many ways my ability to fully experience the other two dimensions, right? The mental, psychological dimension. Because if I'm being poisoned, then like my mental could be off. Like my psychology can be off. Now that's scary. Right? If I'm being poisoned, that can, like, one of the things when you look at the symptoms of being poisoned, like in preparation for the show, I looked at these videos, like, so the FBI knows for research for the show of like what it takes to poison a person, and then also like the symptoms of being poisoned, right? So nobody in my life is at risk, because, you know, like you get investigated, like he was looking, you know, it's like, no, nobody at it was for the show, okay? Love my wife deeply. Would never do anything to her or my family. Okay, so for that purpose, right, I was like, okay, what are the symptoms of being poisoned? And one of them was confusion. And like, stick with me this morning. This, you know, every now and then I do these shows where I'm like, this might be one of the most important shows I've done. So this is up there with those shows. So, And let me go back to the Facebook feed real quick and just see where we are. Like, yes, many things that are in our food and products are banned in Europe. Okay, we'll get into that. But most of you all are saying, yeah, absolutely, I'm being poisoned. So that's a great place just to pause. Okay. I got Ade in the studio with me this morning. And I just want to ask you a couple of simple, fundamental questions, Ade. If you knew I was poisoned, like every Sunday you come in, I'd be like, Ade, have a bottle of water, right? And you knew, like, you getting to realize, like, I think Linnell is poisoning me. Would you keep drinking the water? Are you sure? Are you sure? All right, so he's saying he's very sure that he would stop drinking the water. I actually don't believe you. Let me tell you why I don't believe you. And we're going to get into, especially like if I was like, hey, man, I know the water might be making you a little ill. Let me increase your pay. Would you keep working for me, coming in every Sunday, drinking the water? I was like, I'm gonna pay you more though.
You're just physically poisoning me. Nah.
So I can't even pay you enough to be poisoned.
What I'm gonna do with the money if I'm dead?
Yeah. What am I going to do with the money if I'm dead? Okay, so I want you all to notice right away. Ade went to the long view. And we didn't set this up. I didn't even tell Ade the subject. All right. Here is the piece right here. I want you all to understand why we allow ourselves to be poisoned. If I can block your vision for life, if I can block your vision for life, then I can block your discipline to live. Like, write that down. If I can block your vision for life. And I'm going to break this down in a second. And then we're going to get into how we're being poisoned, by the way. I'm going to walk through my morning routine because that's when it hit me. Like, you do all these things to avoid being poisoned. And you've never talked about it. So at the top of the hour, I'm actually going to go through, like, the things I avoid, the things my wife and I just don't buy, don't have in our house. Like, I mean, all the way to, like, the toothpaste, right? I can't remember the last time I had Colgate or Crest in my mouth. And if I did, it was because it's like at the hotel, I'm like, hey, forgot my toothpaste. They're like, boom. I'm like, ugh. All right, let me make sure I spit all of that out, right? Why? Because there's a warning on the back that actually has, like, the poison control website. Like, look at your toothpaste. Like this. They're like, if you swallow this, contact poison control. And we're like, every morning. Anyway, we'll get there at the top of the hour, okay? We'll get there at the top of the hour. But like I said, I'm going through my morning routine. I'm realizing, like, I don't even pick up regular toothpaste. I don't even brush with regular toothpaste, right? That's a whole nother subject that we're going to get to at the top of the hour. Right now, I just want to discuss this idea that if I can block your vision for life, you said long view is not worth it. If I can block your long view of your life, then I can block your discipline to live. Which means if I can take your long view, I can say, look, man, don't worry about your total life in totality. I'm going to pay you real good right now. Drink this water, right? You're like, well, I know it doesn't make me feel good, but I guess if this next year I can make $1 million, then, oh well. Now, somebody would say, Linnell, that makes no sense. We are doing it every day. We are doing this every day where we don't have a long view for life. And here's one of the ways we do it. Organic's too expensive. And that's not even what I really want to talk about. It's just an example of how we even allow ourselves to be poisoned. Because you got to ask yourself, like, how is this even possible? How is it even possible that in the United States of America we've gotten to this point? So I think we're clear. Let me check back with Facebook for any of you all who just jumped on. Like, ooh, that's a good one. Cantice said, depends on how thirsty you are. Like, I like that, Cantice, because you, like this in the Facebook stream, she's like, maybe you could give Ade the water if he was thirsty enough. So let's say he didn't have water. And I'm like, well, look, I got this water for you. It ain't the best, but it will satisfy, it will quench your thirst. Like, you might be more likely to drink it, huh? Interesting. I like that. Thank you for that. I like that. The basic way, like, because you all know, I'm going to get into how we're being poisoned, but I want you to understand, like, why you allow it. And the reason we allow it is because many of us lack vision for life. Like, because we've identified, if you're a regular listener, that vision equals discipline. So if vision equals discipline, then if I take your vision, then I can also take your discipline to live. So let's look there first, because it's easy for me to go down a list of physical items that poison us. But the reason that it's even possible, the reason that this type of poisoning is possible is because most of us don't have a vision for life. And as a result, that lack of vision blocks our discipline to live. So I would say the average person, talk about the cost of being average. I would say the average person does not have the discipline to live. And because they don't have the discipline to live, they allow the poisoning that's taking place. They actually allow it because I don't have a long-term view. It's just easier if I cook with this no-stick pan. Like, I'm going to get there in the second hour. But, like, this idea of instant gratitude is so powerful because of a lack of a long view. So if my life is based on ease, then it's not based on any type of vision or long view. It's based on right now. Well, again, going back to this example with Ade. Well, Ade, if you did want clean water, you have to go downstairs and pay for it at the store. Oh, by the way, the store's not open, so you have to wait. Why don't you just take this? Right? And it's like, I'm so thirsty, I have to have it right now. Another reason why we allow ourselves to be poisoned is because we fool ourselves into believing that, I'm hungry. I have to eat right now. And by the way, there are no healthy options, but I must eat right now. And the reason I must eat right now, even when I know I might consume poison, is because I don't have a vision for my life that's long view that actually gives me the discipline to say no in the moment. And as a result, that is what allows me to fool myself into eating poison. This is why when we look at the dimensions that we're being poisoned in, I would say I'm starting with the physical. Well, actually, I'm starting with the psychological, mental. Like, that's the conversation we're having, because if I can poison you psychologically and mentally, then I own you physically. If I can get your mind, then I can have, we know that most of us in our community, based on what was done to our ancestors, like they broke the mind and then got the body. And my fear is in 2024 that our community is still in mental slavery because individually and collectively we lack vision. And what does the good book say? Without vision, the people perish. So this is concerning to me. And I began to ask myself, and like I said at the top of the hour after the break, I'm going to get into like the particulars of how we're being poisoned, right, physically. But I really want to stick with this mental, psychological aspect of the conversation first. Because if I can take your vision, like if we go back to the statement I made that I actually meant to put here in the feed. If I can take your vision for life, then I can block your discipline to live. Right now, if I walk out the studio and I ask the first random person I run into, no matter the race, no matter the religion, and I say, you want to live? They'll say, yes, I want to live. And then if I follow them for the rest of the day, I could point out the ways that they're killing themselves. And here's the crazy part. More than likely, by the middle of the day, they probably like, man, get out of here. Now, mind you, the conversation started with them telling me, yes, I want to live. Is your life important to you? Yes, my life is important to me. Would you do whatever you could to extend your life? Yes, I would. Like, I firmly believe any random person. Tell me if I'm wrong, right? Tell me if I'm off in the stream. Like, tell me if I'm lying. Like, any random person, if I ask these questions, those will be their answers. And then, as we move through the day, and I'm like, you shouldn't eat that. They have a chemical. And me, my wife is like, you're such a nerd, because I'll start telling them the chemicals in it. Have this chemical, that chemical, what it does to the body. It's messing up your liver, your kidneys, blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't do that. It's actually poisoning yourself. I believe we would not make it through the day before they be gone, dude. Like, get out, man, bro. Like, you tripping. Bye. Even though they said that they wanted to live. And not only that they wanted to live a long life. And they wanted to live a healthy life. Like, they would not want me to begin pointing out the places that they're poisoning themselves. By the way, this is why this show doesn't go viral. Because as much as we say, we want to live with our mouths, most of us don't. We have been psychologically and mentally manipulated into death. And it's scary. It's scary. Like I said, this just may be, I know already for the year, this is the most important show of the year. But this just may be one of the most important shows I've ever done. All right, so then how are they blocking your vision for life? It's very simple, and the impact is complex. But how they're doing it is very simple. When I say they, let's just say the big corporations. The big corporations that spend billions of dollars paying your politicians. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry. Lobbying your politicians to create certain regulations or ease the regulations or stick little small things into bills like Monsanto did in 2013. They just slid something into the bill. Like, we almost had the government shut down, and they were like, they got to put this stuff through real fast. The lobbyists working the politicians, hey, slide this into the bill. You know what they slid into the bill? You can't hold us liable for poisoning you. So a company like Monsanto will get doctors, who, by the way, are consultants that work for them, right, to write these little white papers and say, oh, no, it's not so bad for you. No, there's no studies that say that this will kill you. And by the way, this is what makes us, okay, I feel better about it. I'll eat my chicken nuggets, right? oh, this tastes so good with the barbecue sauce that has corn syrup in it, and the corn syrup, my body can't process it metabolically, so it's going to cause diabetes. But no big deal. No big deal. Because in the moment, it tastes so good going down. And by the way, it's not real chicken. but no big deal. They stuck this little excerpt in the bill. Can't hold us accountable. Well, why would they need to do that if they weren't poison? That's like me saying, Dave, if you're going to work for me and drink this water every morning, I need you to sign this waiver that you can't sue me, nor can your family sue me for killing you. Like, would you keep working for me? But we keep eating the food. All right, so how do they do it? How is it done? Well, once again, if I block your vision for life, I can block your discipline to live. So what do? I give you a vision. That's what I do. Like if I want to poison you and get away with it, then I have to take your vision for life. I have to separate you from your divine appointed purpose. Because if you get connected to your divine appointed purpose, then your life becomes valuable, not just to you, but you understand the impact you can make on other people. And so because I understand the impact I can make on other people, I want to keep my temple clean, my mind clear. Right? I want to be as close to the Creator as possible, and I know I can't do that if sickness is ravaging my body. I've been doing this show as of this month for 11 years. February 23rd will be the anniversary for 11 years. I've been doing this show. And let me ask you, those of you who've been listening, especially those of you who've actually seen the stream, here's the impact of a purpose-driven life, you all. Like a true purpose-driven, because some people who haven't done the work, they'll lie to themselves and say, I'm purpose-driven. But see, there are certain side effects to purpose. Like you start to notice that you're living better. Like regardless of quote unquote aging, you're like, I'm actually living better than I was 10 years ago. Right? Because purpose pulls you and confines you to a certain way of living. And for those of you who watch the show, and by the way, not trying to brag or say something, anything like that, but you'll notice my weight hasn't gone up and down, right? My weight hasn't gone up and down. And by the way, I'm just pointing to something here, that the reason for that is because I have a very clear vision for my life and vision for the impact that I want my life to have. It's like all praise goes to the Creator. Because without him, I would probably at the age of 47, I'll be 48 this year, have the average makeup of a 47, 48-year-old man. And what's sad about the average makeup of a 47 to 48-year-old man? It doesn't look like this. And it's normalized. But the reason why is because most 47, 48-year-old men, average 47, 48-year-old men, have been thoroughly poisoned at that point. Thoroughly, poisoned. And so their metabolic system is not working properly, which means that the metabolic system is not working properly, then neither is the mind. Let's just sit with that. Neither is the mind. So that's one. I'm trying, and where I'm getting is, I've been praying about why is it so difficult to reach people. Then it hit me. Well, the only way I can reach them is in the mind. But if the mind is poisoned, then they can't even fully grasp the message. Because if one of the symptoms of poison is confusion, Like, often people might even get confused with the facts I throw. Like, oh, wow, I don't know how that makes sense. What about this? He making me think too hard. Click. Think about this. If I can't mentally focus on something, like I have to be distracted, or I have to look at my distractions, then I'm a slave. I'm a slave to whatever medium that is controlling me. And in 2024, where we're celebrating Black History, I think this is the perfect Black History show. We're celebrating Black history, all the hard work our ancestors did to get us where we are, only to be mentally enslaved all over again. Okay, I got 13 minutes left before I can see people in the stream like, I want him to get to this list of products. Like, how am I being poisoned? Let me finish with this idea of the mind. So if I block your vision for life, how can I block your vision for life? I can tell you a different vision. How do I tell you a different vision? Television. Like, and here's the crazy part. Like, we've used that as an acronym or as a description of television so long, they know they got folks, they haven't even tried to change the name. Like, sometimes when they know a product is poisonous and it's out there, they'll flip it up. Right? They say, oh, they didn't caught us. We got to rebrand. Like, some things, they like, oh, we got them on this. Like, it don't even matter. Like, we only got to call it something else. We're going to keep calling it television. Like, we like, you ain't going to do nothing about it. This is how we mentally poison you. Everybody knows. Whatever. The content is so seductive and so good, you're still going to turn it on. And it's true. It's true. Like, you're still going to turn it on. Like, we've got you, dopamine addicted to this in a way that even after his show ends, like, we don't even have to cancel him. Like, even after his show ends, you're going to turn the television right on. You might even cut the show off and start watching television right in the middle of it. Like, we got you. It's like, man, yeah, whatever. And because we have you, then we can own your life. We can own your life. Now that I have you, now that I've blocked your vision, I'm going to sell you poison directly. And it's so direct that when I advertise it to you, then I'm going to tell you very quickly all the bad things that it does to you. And you'll still buy it. Like, that's how entangled you are. That's how much I own you. And by the way, once I have you on these products that I'm selling to you, I'll tell you that anyone that says you can get off is lying. If you eat a good organic diet, food is your medicine, they're lying. That's not founded. That's not true. Like, don't believe that. As a matter of fact, it's funny. Some of the people I follow, I've looked up, and when I say people, like health experts, when I say health experts, not medical doctors, but like health experts, like people who've done the work and healed people, like healers. Let's say healers. When I look them up online, you go to the Wikipedia pages, like some of them, it will actually start with, this is a dangerous person. And when you look at their content, they're saying, don't eat refined sugars. Like, they're telling you to stay away from poisons, and then they're labeled dangerous. I would be honored if my Wikipedia said, this is a dangerous man. Dangerous to who? The billionaires that are trying to poison you? Because when I read that, I'm like, oh, I definitely got to follow her. I definitely got to follow him. So if I can block your vision, then I can block your discipline to live. Last year, I did a series of shows on vision. Probably some of the most important shows I've ever done. Everything starts with your ability to see it in your mind. And if I give that ability away to another entity, Netflix, NBC, ABC, ESPN, FanDuel, DraftKings, here's what's happening. I had this debate at the barbershop yesterday about gambling. Do you know that I was the only person in the barbershop that was having a conversation in support of the ills of gambling? 20 years ago, I would have had way more supporters. Just 10 years ago, I would have had there were actually people trying to convince me that it could be good. This is how poisoned we are. And 100% of those people agreed they were addicted. So I know I'm an addict. And let me tell you why it's good, so you can become an addict too. If I block your vision for life, I can block your discipline to live. Friday, my son was with me, spent Friday evenings with him, pick him up from school to go basketball practice, blah, blah, blah. We have dinner together, etc. And at his practice, there's some fellas, they play in this AAU league. In the past, I would shoot with him a little bit and, watch my son. But I was just kind of, man, let me get a shot, I hadn't been over there because of the injury. Like, bro, you good? I'm good, man. They came and sat down where I was, and they were like, hey, man, can I ask you a question? There's 3 of them. What's up? Like, who you think? Memphis or Golden State? Huh? What are you doing? Yo, you're not gambling, are you? Man, how? You're not even old enough to make picks. No, we finessed it. I'm like, man, what is happening? What is happening to our society? Like, when teenage boys are already being, like, you see how they slid it in so you can't even go anywhere without seeing the symbolism. I was watching KG and Paul Pierce. In the corner, MGM Bet. Right? They're sponsored. You can't even go anywhere. So then imagine being addicted to something that you're constantly reminded of to do. And by the way, okay, so you might hit the parlay once. After that, you're losing. How are we being poisoned? So now here's my argument. It's not necessarily the gambling that I'm concerned about. What I'm concerned about is the distraction that it creates from life. That's what I'm concerned about. The distraction that it creates from my ability to actually look forward in my life to create what the Creator intends for me to create in alignment with His purpose for my life. His purpose for my life is not that I make the right picks. However, if you take the amount of time that people spend on making the right picks and they just added it to strategically creating their week, they would actually begin to create the revenue that they're looking for in gambling, and that revenue would be guaranteed. You see what's happening here? Like, can we see what's happening here? Like, I'm afraid, and by the way, there are folks driving to church right now who have justified their gambling behavior. You've justified it. Oh, don't turn me off, because my only question is, how is it getting in the way of what the Creator intends for you to do? You want to know how we're being poisoned? We're being poisoned from every direction, and it starts mentally and psychologically. Because if I give up my psychological ability to say no to gambling, what else will I do? How else will I gamble? Will I gamble away my family? And I'm not saying you're going to lose all your money, but you just get used to taking risk. What other risk might I take? Oh, man. Can we see it? Can y'all see it? Can you see it? Am I, like, let me know on Facebook, is this clear enough? Is it ain't popular. But all I'm saying is, if I have you focused on the best picks, then I can slowly poison you. Then I can, I don't have time to actually research my toothpaste because, there's a game today. All right, let me get off that. Leave the brothers alone. It said, you know what it is, and it ain't good for you. I don't even gotta stay there. All right. If I block your vision for life, I can block your discipline to live. If I block your vision for life, I can block your discipline to live. What is the consequence? See, here's the thing. What's the consequence? If I block your discipline to live, it means you die a horrible death. Like, we got to get, hey, man, ain't nothing cute about cancer. Ain't nothing cute about losing kidney function. Ain't nothing cute about liver disease. Ain't nothing fun about heart disease. Ain't nothing good about respiratory diseases. And the reason that we're not willing to do the work to avoid the inevitable is because my vision for life has been blocked. And because my vision for life has been blocked, my discipline to live is gone. Now, I want to walk through my daily routine real quick and just kind of give you all what I have come to realize is like how I avoid poisons. So, like, one of the first things I do that I think is important to, like, the poison expellation process, when I say expelling poison from the body. So I know as a human being, I'm moving around, I'm walking, I'm inhaling this air, etc., and there's poison in that. And so one of the things I do every morning is I start my morning with hot lemon water, right? A good organic lemon. And by the way, I'm not sure about the science. Look this up because it may not have to be organic because of how lemons are made. You just want to make sure you don't get anything on the outside of the lemon into your water, right? When you squeeze it, then you got to be a bit more careful. One of the things that my wife and I do, we have a vinegar spray bottle. I would highly suggest that you get a little small bottle and put vinegar in it. Okay, a vinegar spray bottle. I would say, if you can, make it a glass bottle, right? They don't sell, like everything's plastic now. We're going to talk about plastic and the toxicity of plastic in a moment. But, glass bottle, have your vinegar in it. And whenever you get your fruit, like, spread down, like, we had cherries in the house. They're all gone now. But, every time I would put some in my son's lunchbox, put the cherries in a glass bowl, right? And I'm saying that on purpose. By the way, what we're eating our breakfast in, if you have hot breakfast in the morning, and it's so many ways they're poisoning us. I can't even get to my morning routine just thinking about this, right? But the plastic bowl, you put that hot cereal in the plastic bowl, and it automatically causes the plastic to leach into the cereal, and you're getting those toxins into your body. And so distilled white vinegar. And so somebody on the Facebook stream was asking which kind of vinegar. Distilled white vinegar is fine. All right. But almost any vinegar has the properties that, break down the poisons on the outside of the fruit. And so we spray the fruit, spray the cherries in the glass bowl. Then we, put it in water, let it sit for a while, right? Maybe 5 minutes while I'm making his lunch. The last thing I do is I go rinse all the water off, right? I would add vinegar to the hot water, Joy. Rinse all the water off, right? And rinse all that off. And then, put it in his lunch. Just like that, right? Anyway, so back to the lemon water. I was talking about how to clean the lemon fruit, how to clean the lemon, right? First thing I do, hot lemon water. Why? First thing is to flush my body of all the toxins that were created the day before from the food I ate, from the environment I was in. I want to get whatever's sitting in my colon out immediately. Get the waste out. I want to get the waste out. If you are not regular, what I mean by regular, like consistent bowel movements, then you are being poisoned from the inside of your body because the toxins don't have anywhere to go. So the idea is that I get it out. First thing in terms of my morning routine, get out the toxins. Okay. Actually, it's not true. Before I drink the lemon water, first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, take a biology break, and which is usually urinate, right? And then I go right to the sink, wash my hands, and I brush my teeth. However, I do not brush my teeth with any of the leading brands. Because if you turn over the leading brands, most of them have a poison control note. I always say, don't believe anything I say. Like, check this out for yourself. Most of them have a poison control note on the back, right? And they're like, if this is swallowed, blah, 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 call this poison center, etc. Why would I brush my teeth with that? The other thing is, if you go on YouTube and look up the impact of fluoride on the body, then you'll know why you definitely don't want to give your children toothpaste with fluoride, because they're swallowing it. Like they'll be like, oh, well, it's trace amounts. It's not that much. And it's kind of like, drink the water. There's not that much poison in it, right? It's like, what? So we get alternative toothpaste. Like, we order from a company. I'm more than happy if you reach out to me to share the company. This is not a commercial for that organization. But we get our toothpaste from a company where there are no poisons, no documented poisons in the toothpaste. Okay? There's some good brands out there that you can look up on Google. If you're not spending too much time, looking up your next pick, right? You can look these up on Google, so you're brushing your teeth with something that's not poisoning you. All right, so that's the first thing. The toothpaste we use in our household, children, etc., is not name brand, like leading market toothpaste. I'm scared of anything that's leading in the market, for the most part, okay? Like, anything that's leading in the market, I'm like, nah, that's highly commercialized, probably not good for you. Okay. Then I go have the lemon water. Now, after I have the lemon water, it gets my bowels to moving almost immediately, right? So, and we're having a real conversation here, okay? Use the bathroom. After I use the bathroom, I get in the shower. We don't have leading brand soaps in the shower. Why? Because most of the leading brand soaps have detergents that leach to the skin. Now, think about your body as this huge organ. And I'm washing myself with detergents that leach to my skin. As a matter of fact, quick tidbit, one of the things that my wife and I do whenever she purchases new clothes or we purchase new clothes, we do not wear those clothes right away. As a matter of fact, we also don't use leading brand laundry detergents for the same reasons, you guys. For the same reasons. It's like, if it can work all that magic on the fabric, what is it doing to your skin? But it smells so good. Linnell, it smells so fresh. It smells so good. Oh, it just makes me... If I block your vision for life, I can block your discipline to live. Like, you got to remember that one. If I can block your vision for life, I can block your discipline to live. Like, who said it has to have a wonderful fragrance? The idea is not to stink, right? Not to smell like a lavender garden, right? They have the and folks are like, I'll take that one. What are they using to perfume the laundry detergent? All right, anyway, so back to the soap. I don't really want to do a commercial for the different soaps because I'm not saying it's the only soap that's good for the skin. One of the soaps we made is made by a doctor who was concerned about skin. All right, so that you might know who that is, but this is not a commercial. Okay, I want to be very clear about that. And so what we do is we have soaps that don't have poisons in them. Like, go look at your soap on the back. If they even give you the ingredients, like I don't even know if they have to. You know where I'm going? If they even give you the ingredients, Google it, and then Google every ingredient. I guarantee if you take the time to do that, you're gonna throw your soap away. All right. Then next, same thing with our shampoos, right? And there are so many African American companies that make great shampoo now. I don't know why you're washing your hair with something different. And it's clean, right? It's made by us for us. It's clean. You have to worry like it's good for your hair, for your locks, you're like, yeah, I have hair problems. It's like, because you're using, shampoo for the others. It's like, what? Well, I have dandruff. That's why. I ain't gonna block the brand, but you get my point. All right. Anyway. Okay. So then take a shower. When I get out the shower, I'm drying off with a towel that was washed in a eco-safe laundry detergent, not just for the environment, but also for my body. And then after that, I put on lotion. Are you looking at the ingredients of your lotion? Like, your skin is the largest organ that you have. Are you looking at the ingredients of your lotion? And then the crazy part is, it's got all this poison in it, and the poison don't even keep you moist. Like, you ashy 30 minutes later. Like, it ain't, like, what's the use, right? Again, I got a whole list of things. You can reach out to me. This is not a commercial. What I'm saying is do your research. A lot of these lotions are not good for the body, and they come with all these perfumes in them. And why does my lotion need dye? Why do I care about the color of my lotion? I'm rubbing it in. Like, why does it need dye? What is dye doing to my body? Once again, how we're being poisoned. So now I put on lotion, right? It's a particular type of lotion. It is not a leading brand lotion. All right. Then comes my deodorant. Now, I did a lot of research on deodorant. You choose what you want. According to research, antiperspirant deodorants aren't that bad for you. According to research, aren't bad for you. It's likely true, right? And when I look at the research, you have a lot of doctors who are like, it's nonsense. This whole craze about aluminum-free deodorants, it doesn't make sense. Aluminum is everywhere, which is true. We have aluminum in most of our fruit and foods, and I don't think we realize it, right? In fact, I would suggest that you cook on stainless steel pots versus Teflon. We're going to get there in a minute. The Teflon is poisoning you, right? It's getting leached into the food. Oh, but it's so hard to wash stainless steel. Oh, stainless steel is so difficult, Linnell. I didn't jump to my breakfast now. I'm going to back up in a moment, right? But once again, I will tell you, if I can block your vision for life, I can block your discipline to live. It's like, take an extra 120 seconds and just scrub the stainless steel. Like, we just want to whoosh, throw it in the dishwasher. And by the way, the dishwasher detergents that we use, what's in that? Well, it don't get the dishes clean if I use the other ones and blah, blah, blah. It's like, then rinse it off when you take it out. If I block your vision for life, I can block your discipline to live. Okay. I don't want any spots on my glasses. Anyway, okay. Are you all getting the point? Like, let me look at my Facebook on. Are you all getting this? Are we getting this? Are you understanding? Some of us are poisoning our families so it can all be easy. All right. So deodorant, I don't know. That's my answer there, right? As for me, I use aluminum-free deodorant. I don't want all of a sudden, 20 years from now, for them to say, but since aluminum is everywhere, it's kind of like, if you sweat profusely and you need antiperspirant, God bless you. Okay. Right? Like, do that. Okay. That's based on my research. You might come up with something different. That's based on my research. All right, now I'm dressing. What kind of clothes do I wear? Linnell, the clothes? Yes, the clothes. Okay. And I've gotten this is something that I learned in 2023. And I've slowly, when I think about my son's underwear, right? He likes the characters, but, on his underwear, Batman draws. Yeah, y'all know how it was when you was young, right? Legend, I love you. He probably like, oh, Dad, man, come on. He'd be listening. Really? Right? But anyway, I prefer that his underwear are cotton. I prefer his T-shirts are cotton. Why? Because blended fabrics, by the way, this is in the Bible, where we are instructed to not blend fabrics, right? He instructed the children of Israel to not blend the fabrics, right? I remember reading that years ago. I was like, why does that matter? Why does that matter? Well, it matters because you have a frequency. You are an electromagnetic being with a frequency, right? That's emanating off of you and allowing you to thrive and interact with the world around you. And when you wear blended fabric, it blocks your frequency. Don't believe me? I always say, go look it up. Go look it up. Go look it up. Okay? Don't believe me. All right? Now, so for me, it's okay, cotton, underwear briefs, cotton T-shirt, cotton shirt. There are times, I'm traveling today, where I might wear a blended fabric. I'm very aware of it, right? So it's I'm not even doing this perfectly. I have the knowledge to. However, if most Sundays when I'm talking to y'all, I'm cotton from up and down. I'm cotton. Why? Because I understand that part of how we interact is frequency, vibration, and I want the full vibration of what I'm doing, my purpose, the extension of my purpose to reach out. Man, this dude is off. He is into it. It's knowledge is grievous. Put it like that. There's certain things I can't do. I'm wearing these pants man, oh well. Pray over it, keep it moving. Okay. So then even the clothes I put on, I want them to be 100% cotton or 100% wool, not blended. All right. Now, then I began to go downstairs, just get my breakfast. Okay. Organic oats. I'm not telling you to eat oats. Everybody's blood type is different, things like that. But and by the way, now think about this. Think about how much intention is in my movement. And by the way, this is years in the making. Learning and then acting, learning and then implementing. Okay. Years in the making. This didn't come overnight. So don't get anxiety. Be like, oh my God, so many things. It's okay. One thing at a time, right? One thing at a time. Then I go down, and lately I'll put my oats in a glass mason jar, and leave them in the fridge overnight. I'm ready, right? If I cook my oats, I cook them in a stainless steel pot. I already talked about why. Why? Go look up Teflon as a poison. Just go look it up. We're moving so fast. You get where I'm going? We're moving so fast that a lot of times we're like, whatever. It's like, no, stainless steel. You want to cook on stainless steel or cast iron. Like you don't want to go look up the negative impacts of Teflon. Like the hormones, some of us are suffering with things that if we begin to switch up how we move and cleanse, and by the way, we're going to be doing a second quarter cleanse. I got to get with the Moonies, identify when, March. I think there's some fasting seasons around Passover. Because we got to get back in line. You get where I'm going? So let's talk about it, Moonies, when we'll do our second quarter detox and cleanse. All right, but it'd be a good time to do it right around Ramadan. So that way our brothers and sisters, or maybe Ann might be like, we can't do it with fasting, Linnell. We'll figure it out to really complement those seasons, right, of the true beginning of the year. That's a whole nother conversation, by the way. Okay. I'll be talking about that later, the true beginning of the year. Okay, so now I cook in stainless steel, and I head to my office. People might say, what kind of car, Linnell? Electric? To me, we're talking about poisoning the body. In terms of poisoning the earth, I do believe electric is a farce. And the reason why is because of what's happening in the Congo. That's my take on that. It's, it is what it is. But it's something that needs to change. Put it like that. What's happening in the Congo absolutely 100% needs to change. If you don't know what's happening in the Congo, again, that's why we got to lift our heads up. What's going on in the world? They're selling it to us that you're green if you drive electric, and then they're killing our people in the Congo in order for you to get this cobalt. That's another conversation. Okay. So then I get to my office, and there's a couple of things. In my office, I have an EMF blocker. Again, I can put, one of the things we'll do is maybe for the YouTube show, I'll have my assistant, we're going to go and put all the links. And then if you follow me, I can I'll send out an email and all the links to everything that I purchase. But I have an EMF blocker in my office. The reason I have an EMF blocker, and I wear an EMF blocker, right? It's on the back here. You got the coils, supports circulation, etc., and it blocks. We're surrounded by, you be like, why he wear 2 chains? It's like, not because I'm 2 chains. It's like, again, it's about, this is how to me, this is a useful way to spend your time. Like, how do I protect myself? How do I protect my family? I bought my wife one, right? I wish you would wear it more, babe. You know what I'm saying? But you get my point. If it got to be in gold, I'll put it in gold. Like, you tell me, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my office, I have a plug-in EMF blocker. What does that do? Many of us, when we get to the workplace, especially those of us who are entrepreneurs, one of the reasons you have a difficult time focusing is because, again, you're an electromagnetic being. When you have all these frequencies coming from your computer, the server, the Wi-Fi router, your telephone, like all these different signals, then of course, like your brain emits a signal as well. And so the signals are they talk, fatigue, all these things. It's real. It's real. Now, some of it comes from what you're putting in the body, but some of it comes from what's outside the body, right? So in my office, I have this EMF blocker that supports mental clarity and also reduces the radiation within the office, okay? I spend a significant amount of time in my office. So the idea is that I'm protecting myself from the poisons in the air, okay? The other thing we have in our house and in the office are filters, air filters, where we're ensuring that the quality of the air that we breathe, at least inside of our home, is good quality air, right? Now, I don't necessarily believe in putting the hypoallergenic filters on your furnace, because it's been proven that it will force the furnace to work harder, right? We don't want to hurt our furnaces and then have to replace them. So what I would suggest is getting regular filters and changing them every month. And on my phone, I have a reminder. So I go down every month, pull the old filters, put new filters in. I don't use hypoallergenic because my HVAC guy was like, hey, man, look, it's going to make your furnace work harder. You want the air to move through in a really good way. You don't want your furnace to go out. And so every month, redoing, the filters, right? I have bought buildings and go check the filters. Like, people been breathing that. And we wonder why the children are sneezing, asthma, etc. It's like, well, the air is poisoned. Okay. So once I get into the office, EMF blocker, then I have a standing desk. One of the ways that we're killing ourselves is that we're sitting all day. Well, again, I'm telling you, don't believe me. Go do the research. Go do the research, okay? But there is research that says sitting for 4 hours, being sedentary like that, will take years off your life. So I stand. Oh, you must be tired at the end of the day. No, I've been standing now since 2016. And so my body is used to it. The body was built to stand, not to sit. Our ancestors didn't sit all day. They stood and walked and moved. And so what am I doing in my office? I get on the phone with a client. I'm walking around the office, even out the office, into the bar area, into the den area. I'm walking around as I talk. They say something I need to write down. I walk back to the computer and type it out. So I'm moving all day. Moving all day. Now, mind you, we didn't even go into the workout. That's okay. But just here are things that the normal person can do. Okay. Before I begin working, typically I'll meditate, right? Let's get past that, meditate, pray. But after I do that, I take off my socks. Listen to me. I take off my socks because I work standing on a grounding mat all day. Linnell, what does it mean to be grounded? Go look it up. If I'm an electromagnetic being, I'm just, by the way, these are things that I've added, it could be like one thing a year. You get where I'm going? Like, oh, here's some research. Here's, but I'm grounded, okay? I'm grounded. So I'm standing grounded all day long. Go look up the benefits of being grounded all day long. One of the things about us in the United States of America, like, you go to, third world countries and you see people walking around barefoot. Not every person walking around barefoot can afford shoes. That's not, some of them actually are choosing to walk around barefoot because they have an understanding about grounding. They know that being connected to the earth is a natural inflammatory reducer. They know that. Now, because I can't work outside on the concrete or in the grass all day, I have simulated that impact of grounding, which is why I work barefoot, grounded, just about every day. Bought my wife a grounding mat, and it's a Christmas gift. She was like, well, what do we get, Sherry and them, and different family members. I'm like, get them a grounding mat. And I know they like, Linnell different. It's like, no, I care about you. You give them one like I care about you. And so I want to get you something that will actually support you and support your body. Okay, let's go back to this list of poisons. Let's spend the last few minutes. Again, 773-591-1690 if you know something that I didn't mention that's poisoning us. Plastic bottles of water. Now, I'm traveling again today. I'm traveling. So one of the things that we normally do in our household is we drink filtered water. We have a water filter. We invested in a water filter. Let me say it like this. If you carry a $2,000 to $3,000 bag, but you won't get a water filter, if you block your vision for life, I can block your discipline to live. Oh, those water filters are really expensive, Linnell. A good water filter, but then I'm carrying, a Birkin, Chanel bag. Hey, girl. What? It doesn't make sense to me. This is how you know that we're being manipulated. The things that we say we can afford versus the things that we say we can't afford. Filtered water and then what we've done is we went to the grocery store and we bought like 10 Voss bottles, the glass bottles, right? About 10 Voss bottles. And so that's why you always see me with a Voss. I didn't buy it. I'm not buying it every time, bro. It's a refill from the filter at home in glass, right? I'm carrying glass. Have I broken one before? Yes. Yeah, I have. I would rather lose my water in that moment, it happened, man, a really cold Sunday. It happened in the parking lot. Had my bottle with me, and it was cold outside. My hands were cold, and swoop, right out my hand, boom! Oh, my water, right? Has it happened? Absolutely. Am I going to stop filling my bottles, my glass bottles with water? Absolutely not. Why? Because I try to drink from plastic as little as possible. As now, for instance, the leadership tour of Uganda is coming. We'll be in a different country. You go to countries where the water's not sanitary, you can get cholera, right? So will I drink from a plastic water bottle? Yes. Yes. But then I'm going to come back and do the second quarter detox and cleanse. Right? Is it like there's some places where it's just not possible, right? Where, you're going to get some poisons in your body, which is why we detox and cleanse. But how do I limit it? With the water, I'm drinking from glass, okay? If you work somewhere, I would suggest you have a steel mug, Stanley mugs, all the craze. It's like, hey, if it's stainless steel, that's phenomenal. Get two. Have one at home, have one at work, drink your water from that. Make sure you're not drinking through a plastic straw. Okay. Because plastics leach and PFAs, these are called forever chemicals, are all throughout our water system. There's a movie by Mark Ruffalo called Dark Water. And it's a documentary into the water supply of the United States major cities. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. If you are financially blessed, one of the biggest gifts you can give your family is copper is good as well. That's right. Copper in particular is good all around for the body because of the ions that, the necklace I have, those copper, like it blocks things. Copper is something that goes well with the human body. It just does. It's phenomenal in that way. Some people wear, copper laced things on parts of the body that are ailing because it eases blood flow. Copper is really good. The Creator don't make no mistakes. These, if it's pure copper, He made it. The things I'm talking about, like we took from all these things, we put it together and said that's good, and it's like, no, it's not. it's like everything that He created and said that's good, it's good. All right. And let's be clear, some of the things that He created in terms of food, when He said that's good, He was like, because it's going to clean up all the other good things. Like the pig is created to go clean up all the garbage, right? Even the feces. And then He wrote and said, or He gave us instructions and said, oh, by the way, don't eat that. We like, Linnell, but it's so good. And it's like, all forbidden fruits are sweet. But what's the long-term impact? Let's talk about spiritual poisoning. The number one spiritual poison that they are using on us today comes in the form of words and music. Words and music. Let me explain. Yesterday, my wife and I, we took the children to the jump zone, sky zone, whatever. Okay. And so they were there jumping around. And there was a preteen girl who had on a T-shirt. And the T-shirt said, I heart hot dads. No lie. Like, I know somebody right now, you're lying. Somebody right now, so, like, and you should be. You should be like, what? A preteen girl with a T-shirt on that said, I love hot dads. And I looked at the shirt. So I'm looking for her parents. I said, this girl, like, I showed Pam. I said, Pam, look at the girl's shirt. She was like, oh. We both like, what? Words have power. Let me explain the power. Like, let me explain what she has either once suffered already or is actually pulling her way is some form of molestation. Because words are spiritual, you all. Words are spiritual. And all it takes is for one spiritually sick man, he is drawn to her. You get where I'm going? He is drawn to that little girl. And she is actually, through the words on her shirt, inviting spiritual molestation. So then if I'm inviting something spiritual, what do you think happens in the physical? Come on now. Like, we have got to wake up. So then somebody right now is saying, oh, no, she didn't. How do we get there? How we get there is we don't pay attention to what we wear. I said it years ago. Skulls and crossbones. It's spiritual symbolism. You don't want it on your body. It's spiritual poison. You don't want it in your house. You don't want anything that is going to puncture the spiritual realm and allow something to come at you. Okay? It's poison. It's poison. Somebody wants to market artesian spring water to you and say anything about death, anything that's negative, don't drink that. Because what they put in there could have been good before they put it in. But because we live in a multi-dimensional realm, once they put it in something that's wrapped in death, the water is no longer good. Don't let these little play on words, you all, seduce you into drinking spiritual poison. Like, and we become so, why would I drink something with claws on it that says Monster? Why would I drink that? Well, you know, I'll be real tired and blah, blah. Why are you tired? Address that. What is happening is we're opening ourselves up to poisons. Everything has a frequency. Right after my injury, so I pulled my abductor playing basketball. By the way, I found out the reason I pulled my abductor is because my hip was slightly out of alignment. Now I'm going somewhere with this. My hip was just a bit, they said not even a full inch. And I felt pain, but I ignored it. There's a lesson in this, right? I felt the pain, I ignored the pain in the back, kept playing, and overcompensating pulled the adductor. Now I can't play, right? So I'm in rehab. That's a whole nother conversation, the rehab. Because some folks won't even do that. Ooh, that's too hard. And I told them, get me back. They like, you want to get back? I mean, they worked me this past week. I mean, you know, worked me, right? But I'm getting back. That's the idea, to re-strengthen and get back. Now that the hip, but it gave me hip tendonitis, right? So now I got to strengthen everything. Where am I going with this? Okay. Everything, see, it's so subtle. Like the back pain was so subtle. It didn't stop me. It didn't stop me from playing ball, but it led to something worse. Everything has a frequency. So since I understand that, as I'm on my healing journey, I play the 285 hertz frequency. It's a healing frequency, right? Already, my PT is like, man, you're healing real fast. Like, this is, how old are you again? It's a knowledge thing. You get where I'm going? I'm playing healing frequencies. I'm doing all the exercises, etc. So if music has a healing frequency, yes, right? If there's a certain hertz I can play the music at that has a healing frequency, then the law of polarity states that for everything that music can do good, it can also do bad. Come on. Where's the lie in this? Which means that I can be introduced to music that has, if there's a healing frequency, that can have a spiritually damaging frequency. As we're leaving Jump Zone, it's not Jump Zone, whatever it is, but y'all get the point, right? As we're leaving this place yesterday, my wife was like, we didn't even hear it throughout the time we were there, music playing. And one of the songs that was playing was sexually suggestive. Our children jumping around. She said, babe, you hear what they playing? So I tune into it. And now I'm looking at the place completely different. Children jumping around, everything looks innocent with a sexual frequency playing in the background. Come on, y'all. Y'all see what's happening? So they're slowly poisoning our children with a sexual frequency. Because the music, the lyrics, the beat, sexually suggestive, right? Everything has a frequency. So I'm like, man, babe, let's get out of here, right? Now we the weird ones that my son's jumping around with headphones on, right? They're like, look at the weird kids, right? You get where I'm going? Like, now I'm the weird one. But I'm weird or you weird? You get my point? Like, and will I do that? The idea is moderation. Like, I don't want my children entrenched in that. It was 1 hour. They jumped around. We went to dinner. Can you imagine? We saw single mothers there working, like maybe studying. Can you imagine if, allowing it? By the way, I love the fact that the mothers have figured out a way to get that stuff done. But the children underneath that, Friday, Saturday, 3 hours. What happens? What happens? If music can heal my body, it can make me ill too. It's the law of polarity, you all. It's the law of polarity. It's the law. That's why we have to understand these laws. Somebody say, well, that's New Age. That's not Jesus. I would say he understood the laws, which is why he was able to do what he did. All right. Fundamentally, he understood these laws. We are being poisoned. And what it comes down to is, if I can block your vision for life, then I can block your discipline to live. In order for us to live in today's society, it is going to require a different level of discipline, a different level of urgency, a different level. And if you want to maintain that level, then you must have a vision for your life. This conversation about goals is not just cavalier. It's because without vision, you die. Spiritually, mentally, and physically. I love you guys. I truly do. Hey, my inspired peoples. Linnell Harris here, certified ontological coach and trainer. I'm so excited that you're watching the channel. By the way, did you know you can catch the show live at 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. every Sunday morning? You can. All you have to do is go to my Facebook stream, Coach Linnell Harris, catch the stream live, or you can listen to the radio show via iHeart at WVON 1690 AM. But since you're here, if you love the content, I ask that you share it, like this particular video, and subscribe to the channel. I hope you're having a great day.